in this video, we're going to have a look at modals, but in past. Modals referring to speculation and deduction. This is level B2. On one hand, we're going to speak about must. Must is always used for a positive deduction. So that means that you are quite sure that something is true. For example, you are looking at two girls and two sisters, and you say they are almost identical. They must be sisters. So this is a deduction, positive deduction for the present. And you could also say, you could use must with a continuous form after it with dynamic verbs. When you're quite sure that something is happening at the moment of speaking, like for example, can you hear the shouting? Our neighbors must be arguing again. So what you deduce, your final conclusion because of what you are hearing is that your neighbors must be arguing. Bear in mind that must should be followed in this case by the verb be, like this, in infinitive without to, and then the gerund after it. Then we can use the same positive deduction, but for something that happened or was true in the past. And in this case, the form is must have with a past participle or with been plus gerund. Let's have a look at the examples. I can't find my wallet. I can't find it now. I must have dropped it in the taxi. So I'm deducing positive deduction about something in the past. So we connect with this, something, a result in the present of something that must have happened in the past. Pay attention to the pronunciation. Must have dropped. I must have dropped it in the taxi, because they use it in the contracted form. He was the only victim. He must have been sleeping when the fire started. So here's, like I said before, sometimes you can use the gerund or the continuous form, but you need to respect the positions of all the auxiliaries in the structure. Like él debe haber estado durmiendo. So you have the must for the positive deduction, the have because you're talking about the past, the been because you need the third column of the verb to be before the gerund that finally comes in final position. Then we have the opposite, like can't, for negative deduction. So you do not use mustn't as the opposite of must in this case. You use can't. If in the other you say deben ser, here you say no pueden ser. And that is the opposite in function. Okay, so we have the same structure as with must. We can have the can't plus infinitive when you are quite sure that something is not true. He can't be that famous. I've never heard his name before. It can also be used with the be and the gerund. They can't be traveling because what you're saying is that something that you're sure that something is not happening right now, okay? So if it's early in the day and you say they can't be sleeping right now because it's still early, okay? And then again, when you talk about the past, you use can't or couldn't plus the perfect structure, the have and the third column. Always remember this is negative deduction. You can also have alternatives with could, might, or may when remember that these three always refer to possibilities, okay? It's possible that something is true, okay? But we are not sure. So you say he could, he might, or he may be away. I'm not sure, okay? Can also be used with infinitive, can also be used with be plus gerund if you're speaking about right now. And the same structure for the past, they have plus the past participle, or they have been plus the gerund. Always when you talk about something, in this case, not about the past, look, Tom isn't at the office. He might, oh, sorry, it's been 3 days. They could, might, or may have finished painting the house by now. So we connect this action with present time, okay? She was home last night, but didn't answer the door. She may have been having a shower. So this one refers to the past. So remember, you can have like both cases. Something was possible in the past, but did not happen. He could have played in the first division. Now look at this last example. Might not or may not, but not, could not, to talk about a negative possibility. Like when you say, he seems too calm, okay, like this example here, he might or may not be aware of the risks. In this case, could not, would not apply for the same functionality. Then we've got this pair of similar words like should and not to. Also to refer to the same is to a situation that we expect to happen. He should or ought to be home by now, like the famous debe estar, okay, o debería estar en casa ya, okay. And the same for the past with the same structure, okay, with have and the third column. So whenever you are speaking about the present, you use the infinitive or the be plus the gerund. Whenever you're talking about the past, you use the perfect tenses, like with or without the continuous form, either way, depending what you're talking about. And then bear in mind that there are expressions for speculation that you can also use. And they talk or they refer to the same. The phrase is be bound or be sure to. They go with verb to be. Do not forget. Same as be likely or unlikely to happen. You can use the structure also with that. It's likely that just in a few years we will change. It's unlikely that. He is likely to win. They are unlikely to reach an argument. So these are structures that have to be used in this way. Definitely and probably are adverbs, and they have a special position. Whenever the sentence is positive, you use definitely or probably, as you can see here, you'll definitely get, okay, between auxiliary and verb. And they go before the auxiliary in negative. They definitely won't find. Same position for probably. Needn't or don't need to, plus infinitive, to talk about the absence of necessity. So when you say, for example, you needn't mop the floor, I've already done it. You don't need to mop the floor, I've already done it, okay? So the needn't alone is typical of British and is more formal, okay? The other is more American. And people don't need to get a degree to find a job, okay? When in general, when we are speaking in general, okay, for people in general, it's not on one specific occasion. It's better to say don't need to and not needn't get, okay? And finally, didn't need to or needn't have can have very different meanings, like needn't have for an action that happened in the past but was unnecessary. This is British. You needn't have brought dessert. I mean, it wasn't necessary. Very British. You didn't need to bring dessert, more American. So this is an action also used, the didn't need to is for an action that did not happen in the past, also followed by the infinitive. Look at this. He started to feel better, so I didn't need to call the doctor. He started to feel better, so I needn't have called is not correct. It doesn't express the idea of lack of necessity on this special occasion. Okay, so lots of things to remember about modality. Modality for deduction and speculation, present or past. So I hope this video has helped you understand a little better. Give me some likes, subscribe my channel. That's very helpful. Thank you, people. Bye-bye. See you.